We'll be continuing our class about the pleura. So we were dealing about the surface anatomy of parietal pleura. So for that we have to see this. This is our sternum. To that there is a joint with the sternoclavicular joint. At that point we have first rib. This is sternal angle. This is Ziphi sternal angle. So here we need to know a few points. This will be midpoint of sternal angle, midpoint of Ziphi sternal angle. So near the sternal angle we have attachment of second rib, followed. Then we have third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh rib. So attached to the seventh rib we are having eighth, followed by ninth, 10th rib. Same thing on the left side too, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So other points we need to know is eighth rib. If there is a point where this eighth rib is coming across your mid clavicular line and 10th rib is coming across the mid axillary line. Then one more point we need to know at the posterior part. This is your 12th thoracic vertebrae. Attached to that we have this 12th rib. So one point 2 centimeters lateral to this T12 thoracic vertebrae. This is on the 12th. So if we know this, we can know the surface anatomy of the different parietal pleura. So we have seen the cervical pleura, which is starting from the how it is formed, joining the sternoclavicular joint and a point between the medial 1/3 and middle 1/3 of the clavicle. So this is our cervical pleura. Next, extending the line from the cervical pleura, now we are going into the anterior reflection of the parietal pleura. So for that we are drawing a line on the further, that is different for the right and the left. So drawing a line from this continuation of cervical pleura to the midpoint of the sternal angle, continue that down till the midpoint of the Ziphi sternal angle. This is for the right side, anterior reflection. What about for the left side? Same thing, starting from this cervical pleura, draw a line towards the midpoint of the sternal angle. From there extend it downwards till the 4th costal cartilage. From there it's deviating laterally and ending near the 6th rib. This will be somewhat 6 centimeters from the midline, this point. So this is our anterior reflection. What about the inferior reflection? Inferior reflection is related with the diaphragmatic pleura and the costal pleura. So for that, on the right side, how we trace it? Started drawing a line from the Ziphi sternal angle, go trace it towards this point where the 8th rib and the mid clavicular line are joining. Same, continue the line till where the mid axillary line is joining the 10th rib. Then extend this backwards towards the point where 12th rib is meeting a line a point on the 12th rib which is 2 centimeters lateral from your spine of the 12th thoracic vertebra. Then what about it on the right, left side? Left side, same thing. From the 6th costal cartilage, it goes towards that point where the 8th rib and the mid clavicular line are fusing. Next, 10th and the mid axillary line, same thing on the back, where a point which is 2 centimeters lateral to the spine of the 12th thoracic vertebra. So this is the anterior reflection. Then we need to know the posterior reflection. For that, you need to remember only two things. One is your C7, other one is your T12. So where did it end? Where was that post inferior reflection? And a point 2 centimeters lateral from the spine of the T12. So extend this line upwards, going upwards till a point 2 centimeters lateral to the spine of the 7th cervical lobe. So this is a posterior reflection. This is also called costovertebral line. Anterior reflection is costomediastinal line. Inferior reflection will be costodiaphragmatic line. So this is about the surface anatomy of the parietal pleura. Then coming to the rhesus. So what is this rhesus basically? So between the parietal pleura and the visceral pleura, there is a potential space. So that potential space is very small, but at few points there is some major gap between this parietal pleura and the visceral pleura. So what is that functional importance of these gaps? What are those gaps? Those gaps are called the rhesus. So there are two types of rhesus. What are they? So here we'll be seeing. So what is this? This is our visceral pleura, parietal pleura, which is outer one. This is parietal layer. This is visceral layer. So here, if you see this point, there we are having a big gap. This is between the costal pleura and the diaphragmatic pleura. So costodiaphragmatic rhesus. So what is the importance of this? Whenever we are taking a deep inspiration, this gap is allowing the lung to expand in very deep inspiration. Then other important features about that is this will be extending about 5 centimeters vertically, that is from above downwards. At what point? In the mid axillary line and between the 8th to 10th ribs. So this is our costodiaphragmatic. Then what is the other rhesus? For that, so this costodiaphragmatic rhesus is present both on the right and on the left. So you can say right and left costodiaphragmatic rhesus. For the other rhesus, we will be seeing this. This is if you are taking a cross section. So inner layer is our visceral pleura on both sides. Visceral pleura. outer layer is our parietal pleura. So here you have one more thing. This is parietal. Same thing on the other side. Visceral and parietal. So here, where do you find this recess? If you see this, what are the different pleura? You can see parts or different types of your parietal pleura. This will be your mediastinal pleura, which is towards the medial side. This is our costal pleura related with the thoracic cage. So this point between this costal pleura and this mediastinal pleura, you can see this gap where you can see this space between the visceral and the parietal pleura in this junction. This we are calling it as, how we can name this, costo-mediastinal recess. So this is present on both right and left, and peculiarity of that is this is somewhat more, or this space is enlarged on the left side because we are having a cardiac notch related. So that is about the recess. Apart from these two recesses, we have some retroesophageal recess, that will be extension of this pleura behind our esophagus. Then next we are having arterial supply and nerve supply. So you have different arterial supply for the parietal pleura and visceral pleura. Same thing, nerve supply is different for parietal and the visceral pleura. So what is that arterial supply for the parietal pleura? Parietal pleura, again you are dividing into four things: costal, mediastinal, diaphragmatic, and cervical. So we need not know about cervical, just costal, diaphragmatic and mediastinal. So for this we can divide this costal pleura and the peripheral part of the diaphragmatic pleura. They have same arterial supply. Then the central part of the diaphragmatic pleura and the mediastinal are having a separate arterial supply. So these will be getting arterial supply, all this entire thing. All this entire parietal pleura, they get the arterial supply from intercostal vessels, or you can say blood vessels supplying the thoracic cage. Visceral pleura, this is developed from the splanchnopleuric mesoderm, or it will be having the same blood supply as the lungs, like the bronchial arteries. So as we have mentioned already, parietal pleura is developed from the somatopleuric mesoderm and visceral pleura is developed from the splanchnopleuric mesoderm. So based on that, visceral pleura is having nerve supply from T2, T3, T5, autonomic nerve supply. Parietal pleura, for this you can divide costal, diaphragmatic, mediastinal. So here you have a tricky thing. Costal and the peripheral part of the diaphragmatic pleura are having one nerve supply. Central part of the diaphragm and the mediastinal pleura are having one nerve supply. What is that? These are supplied by the intercostal nerves. So we get this intercostal nerves in the intercostal space. Then the diaphragmatic pleura, central part and the mediastinal part, they are supplied by the phrenic nerve. So that is our arterial and nerve supply of the parietal and the visceral pleura. Then coming to the applied aspect. So what is this applied aspect? As we have seen, pleural cavity is a potential space. So if there is any accumulation of serous fluid in the pleural cavity, that we are calling it as pleural effusion, and if there is any air inside the pleura, that we are calling it as pneumothorax, and if it is blood in the pleura, we are calling it as hemothorax. If it is serous fluid, then we are calling it as pleural effusion. So this will be seen most commonly in infections like tuberculosis. So in that infections, this pleura are affected, and the layers of the pleura, they can't move freely over each other, or they can't slide over each other freely. Then if it is pus in the pleura, that you are calling it as pyrothorax. So you have a homework. Apart from this, you need to write and submit other, or you can say all the applied aspects of the pleura. So apart from this pleural effusion, pneumothorax and pyrothorax, you need to write and submit all the applied aspects of the pleura. Then just revising all this. So what are they? Pleura is having two layers. What are the two layers? Visceral close to the lungs, parietal close to the thoracic wall. Parietal is again 4. Cervical, also called Simpson's fascia. And one more assignment for you. You should write about the Simpson's fascia. Then we have costal pleura related with the thoracic cage, diaphragmatic pleura, which is lining your superior surface of the diaphragm, then mediastinal pleura. So these are the 4 types, and apart from that, these two, visceral and parietal pleura, they are continuous with each other near the root of the lung, and at that point you have one more important thing, that is pulmonary ligament, which is nothing but a dead space which will be allowing the expansion of the pulmonary veins. Then after that we are having this surface anatomy, that you can, if you practice the diagram, it's easy for you. Then we are having the rhesus. What are the two types, major two types of rhesus? Costo-diaphragmatic rhesus, both on the right and left, these will be 2. Then costo-mediastinal rhesus, these are again 2. Then applied aspects, pleural effusion and other things. So you have 2 assignments. You have to write about the applied aspects of this pleural effusion, and one more thing is you need to write notes about the Simpson's fascia. Thank you.